welcome to today's video. My name is Kaylee if you're new here, and today we're going to be talking about the new year, setting our goals and intentions, the law of attraction. I'm going to share with you what my goals are for this year and the methods that I use to visualize and manifest them. We're also going to dive into a little bit about like season and menstrual cycle syncing. That's hard to say. So thank you so much for being here today. And if you are not subscribed yet to my channel, make sure that you click the subscribe button, like this video if you do, and give it a comment if you have any questions or anything that you want to add. So I'm going to try and make this fast because the sun is like right there, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before it is blasting into my eyes. First thing that I want to talk about is syncing our goals and intentions with the seasons, as well as for you ladies that are watching, our menstrual cycles. And this is something that I've really implemented in this last year and noticed a huge difference. What I mean by season syncing is syncing our lifestyles to go with the seasons. Our physiology is meant to have cycles the same that the earth has cycles. We are one with nature. We come from the same life force energy that everything that's alive comes from. So it's very natural for us to slow down, rest, hibernate, recharge, and prepare in the winter for planting of seeds in spring, for rebirthing new ideas. That's the time to be creative and start new projects, and where our energy starts increasing. In the summer, that's like peak energy, right? It's hot, the sun's out, the days are long, everything's growing and thriving, more motivated. So spring and summer are really like the main times for that. And then fall is when we're kind of starting to slow down. We're harvesting all of those projects and our ideas. Even though us humans have made this 12-month calendar and the start of the year is January, it is the middle of winter. Like right now, as I speak, it is like minus 30 degrees Celsius. The animals are hibernating. Nothing's growing right now. Everything is still and peaceful. Everything's sleeping and resting and getting ready for spring. And it's so important to have this time during winter for rest and recharging, absorbing of nutrients, and just gaining that energy for when spring comes. So as motivating as it can be to have a new year, and especially, after the holidays when we were indulging and everything, it is nice to kind of start fresh and reset a little bit. And I know I personally feel motivated at this time of year, but I also really try to be mindful of my ego, and am I, acting on thoughts that are telling me, oh, I should be doing this, rather than I feel like this is what I need and this is what's going to help my soul, my body, my mind feel its best. So sorry, Walter's using the toilet in the background. Walter's my cat, by the way. Time to rest and reflect on last year. What worked, what didn't, what goals did I achieve? What are some things that I want to carry into this new year, but what are some things that I also want to just let go of and leave last year? You can set goals throughout the whole year. Be aware of that pressure that we often put on ourselves, that ego mindset telling us, because everybody else is doing it or we should be doing it. Listen to your body, listen to your soul. I just wanted to dive into a little bit of cycle syncing as well. So an app or writing it down or whatever, keeping track of your menstrual cycle and knowing what phase of your cycle that you're in, because that can greatly affect your energy levels, your mood, your motivation, your creativity, your clarity of your thoughts, all of that stuff. And if you're nearing the end of your cycle and your sensitivity to stress really goes up, there's a reason that we feel less energized toward the end of our cycle. PMS, or even, just those few days or that week before your period, you're usually tired and usually you're fatigued, you're low energy. That is your body sending you a message that you need to be resting and recharging. Like, this is not the time to be trying to bang out a bunch of intense workouts or pushing your limits. Like, that is not the time. Your body is telling you this is the time to slow down, to decrease stress, take a nap, Walter's just sitting and staring at me. After you're done your period or towards the end of your period, at the beginning of your cycle, you know, when you get that burst of energy, I always call it post-period energy, and I like really try to schedule my life around it. I started looking at my cycle. I have an app calculating the trends of my period, so I really try to avoid booking trips or picking up extra shifts at work or anything like that, making plans when I know I'm gonna be like PMSy periody. And it's made my life so much better. I feel way more happier. I'm not as drained all the time, and starting new projects, working out more and more intensely, cleaning my house, picking up more shifts, making more videos, things like that. I try to save for like the first half of my menstrual cycle if I can, or like majority of stuff, the first half of your menstrual cycle, because that's when you have the most energy, your mindset is more clear, you're more motivated, your creativity is at its highest. It is just like the ideal time. So ladies, please, 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 please start keeping track of your periods, start keeping track of like your fluctuation in energy and mood and motivation, all that kind of stuff, and try to schedule or plan your life a little bit more around your period. But the second thing I want to talk about is self-awareness of our goals and intentions. Are they coming from our ego or are they coming from our soul? And how you can really tell the difference is ego is going to be more centered around superficial things and materialism. So things outside of us, that's a good way to put it. Outside goals are fun to have, and just reading actually about like our outer and our inner purpose in life. And our outer purpose is, you know, like the mark we make on the world, how we affect others, what kind of energy we're sending out into the universe, the work we do. Inner purpose is our self-development, our growth and evolution, and how conscious we are, how peaceful we are, how loving. And that, I think, is a little bit more important, because our inner stuff is what's going to affect our outer stuff, right? So I definitely have some inner goals that are more like soul fulfilling. I do like to have outer goals as well that assist my inner purpose and my highest self and help me feel my best, most authentic self. So my first category is health. So we're talking about mind, body, spiritual health, but when I put health on mine, it's definitely more leaning towards physical health. My health goals are working out 3 times a week, doing yoga twice a month, consuming less alcohol and sugar, and eating a protein source every 3 to 4 hours. So these are quite specific goals, and they're very physical health oriented. This is where you want to be a little bit careful, because I feel like I'm at a place now where I can set measurable goals, like very specific goals, such as 3 times a week, twice a month. I'm okay and accepting of the fact if I don't meet that exactly. Whereas Kaylee 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't want to do such specific goals, because I was a lot harder on myself back then. I wasn't as accepting of if I need to rest and if I don't accomplish everything on my to-do list. I used to be a lot more type A and perfectionist that way and set really high standards for myself. So this is again where self-awareness comes in. If you're that type of person, I would definitely give yourself a bit more broad of goals, be less specific. I want you to ask yourself, like, be really honest with yourself. Are you flexible? Are you kind and loving to yourself? Are you accepting of things coming up and not meeting all of your goals? Are you good at celebrating your small wins and just being happy that you showed up? Or are you the type that like, no, you need to check every single box? And kind of adjust your goals and intentions according to your personality and the types of thoughts you have towards yourself. The next category I do is personal development, and I really feel like all goals and intentions kind of go under personal development. Choosing more things outside of my comfort zone, and I actually am carrying this goal from last year. It felt like I achieved it throughout the year, even just in little ways, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and yeah, embracing fear, not letting fear hold me back, and just accepting, okay, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm still gonna do this. And then another one is listening to more self-development podcasts, So in my last video, my morning routine video, I showed the Self-Healer Circle podcast. That's a really, really good one. Or I love like Oprah's Super Soul Sundays. There's so many good self-development podcasts out there, but listening to more of those while I'm doing laundry, doing the dishes, while I'm on a walk or driving, whatever, and just instilling more of that into my mind, which is gonna help me grow and evolve and be a better me rather than, consuming more negative stuff. Do like reading self-development books as well. And then the third category, I have home. So this is where that outside of me stuff starts to come in. But I feel like your outer world really reflects your inner world, and they do affect each other. So it is important to have outer goals, like I was saying. And then, I have declutter and sell unused and unwanted items. This is, again, being carried over from last year, just really minimizing and only holding on to things that bring me joy and that I actually use. And like not putting so much of myself into things. Like you have like this weird attachment to them, and so you hold on to all this stuff, but then you have all this clutter, and it's actually making your life harder because it's more to clean, more to organize, more to look after. And when you see a bunch of stuff, like it makes you feel more cluttered in your mind. When I have a clear space and have less stuff, and I'm really intentional about the stuff that I do have, I just feel so much more peaceful, and it really affects my mindset. I think most of you could probably agree with that. My other categories are romance, friends and family, work, spiritual, finances, and recreation. So this is just personally how I like to categorize things and be quite like specific. Try to have your inner goals be a little bit more important, or prioritize those ones a little bit more, because if you focus too much on the outer stuff, then that's when our ego kind of starts to play, and that's when the guilt monster starts coming out, or even like being judgmental about yourself, which is what we're trying to do less of. We're trying to be more loving and accepting. My main priorities that I had last year that I'm doing this year are to live a more slow, peaceful, intentional, and loving life. That is like my main goal, and I'm just so excited to carry that energy into this year and celebrating all my small wins. And a big part of it is being present in the moment, catching my mind when it's trying to dwell on the past, which is gone and doesn't exist anymore, or when it's imagining all these things in the future that haven't yet happened, that I don't even know are gonna happen. But really bringing myself back to the present, to the here and now, which is the only thing that is actually real and exists. Everything else is just part of our imagination and our minds, right? Being accepting of whatever is happening here and now, trying not to judge things as much, and just come back home to my inner peace and love and stillness. That's like really what helped me have the best year of my life last year, and be healthier, be happier, make healthier choices for myself. And it allowed me to then achieve a lot of my bigger goals that I had set, and my outer goals that I had set, because I was at such a good place internally. And I think that needs to be our main goal, is like self-awareness and being present and conscious. The last thing I want to talk about is the law of attraction and manifesting. So when we're setting goals and intentions, I really like to do a few different methods. This might be a little too much for you, but this is just what I like to do because I'm a very visual person. So I like to not only write it out in my notes on my laptop, my phone as well, they're connected, so either one. But I like that because I always have my phone with me. So when I think of an idea or need to quickly refer back to my goals and intentions or things I'm trying to manifest, I can just go into my notes and look at my list, to look at my categories, and it's like, oh, okay, it's right there in front of me. It's always accessible and easy. But I also do like to write it out in my notebook as well. I like to do a mind map, brainstorm and visualize the life that I want to live and the person that I want to be. What do my days look like? What habits do I have? You know, what are my thoughts like? How do I talk to myself? How do I present myself and like to the world? How do I treat other people? The last method that I do is I have my planner. It is my absolute favorite. I love how it's laid out. It has like a journaling section at the start where you can also write down the vision for the life that you want, what brings you passion, what is your purpose in life. So I love to fill out that section and refer back to it all the time. There's also an affirmation section where you can write down all of your affirmations. There's a gratitude section. It is just, the best, and I love to refer back to it all the time. And I don't even fill it all out at the start of the year. Like I was saying, I kind of fill it out throughout the year. I started to now, but I'll probably add a little bit more. Things are always changing. We're always growing and evolving. So I think that, you know, new goals and new intentions are always arising. And then in my planner, you'll see as well that there's like your calendar for your month, which has your monthly goals, and it also has your work-life balance goals that breaks down into those categories. And then I also have my weekly section where I can keep track of my habits that I'm trying to implement, as well as have like my main priorities for the week, and then like my weekly goals and to-do list. So I have it in a lot of different places. You don't need to do that. I personally just like to, because then it's everywhere for me. Like when I go on my notebook, bam, it's there. In my planner, bam, it's there. On my phone, on my computer. And so it's always visually cueing me to remind myself of the life that I want to live, the habits and choices that I'm trying to make in my life. And the last thing is a vision board. And I briefly showed in my morning routine video making my vision board for this year. It's something I started doing a couple years ago, and it's just so fun. You don't need to do a vision board, but I think it's such a good creative outlet. I kind of feel like a little kid doing an art project when I do it. And again, I'm a visual person, so I like to go on Pinterest as well as use my own personal photos to really just visualize and put all in one place everything that I want to manifest and achieve this year. And so I have words like peace. I want to have a peaceful life. I even have the word breathe, reminding myself to ground and recenter and always come back to my breath. And I have, picture of a sunset that I saw last year, because sunsets are magical and I want to cherish more magical moments like that. And so having pictures that remind you to make healthier, happier choices for yourself, and that when you look at your vision board, you're going to feel inspired and full of love and joy and excitement. And I think it's just a really awesome tool to use as well. So coming back to the law of attraction and manifesting, like what you do every day, what you think to yourself, what you say to yourself, what you say to other people, every single choice that you make, that's all going to manifest as either negative things in your life or positive things in your life. And what you put out is what you attract. It's just the way it is. And you might not believe that. You might think it's woo-woo or whatever. But if you're a negative, unhappy person that's constantly thinking negative thoughts, having negative feelings, bad things are probably happening to you a lot more than like a happier, positive person. And I'm not saying you're never gonna feel negative and you're never gonna have negative thoughts and feelings, but like I said, it's being aware of them, letting them come and letting them go, not holding on to stuff that doesn't serve us, because we're just gonna attract more of that. Whereas if we're trusting and we believe that we're abundant, that what we visualize is happening for us, that's what we're going to manifest. And I really encourage you to just notice, am I dwelling on things? Am I letting this negativity consume my life? If so, maybe try working on surrendering and just letting go, having faith and just trusting the universe that it has your back and it's working for you. You just have to let it. Anyways, I could go on for hours and hours, but I think I talked about everything that I want to talk about. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've stayed till the end, I hope that you've gained some new insights from it, some inspiration, empowerment, motivation to attract the things that you're trying to manifest into your life, and to just live a more authentic, joyful, peaceful life that you love. We're gonna have a great year this year. Whatever happens, happens. Let's just be accepting, not dwell on things, not focus too much on the future, but always come back to the here and now, to the present. Sun's blaring on my face, so I'm sending you so much love, and we will see you in the next video.